Welcome, everybody, to podcast number 288. Are you winning over your workforce? Please stay. Wow, I messed that up. Are you winning over your workforce? Stay with us.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Welcome, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I am really having a great time. I really think that the key to mental health and success is a 3-day weekend. I am feeling great. Most of the time, I'll do a podcast on Sunday night and I'll head out on Monday. I kind of chilled today with the whole family. We had a great time and I'm feeling just physically and mentally well. And I will say that I did get today was my meal cheat night and I got a Reese's concrete. They call them vanilla concrete with extra Reese's in it tonight. Anyway, so even with having dessert, I feel just great. And I think it's because they've got plenty of rest. And I have to say something, and I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but the restaurant that I told you was Unlean, and I won't mention their name here tonight because I don't know if I can get sued for that, but you know who I'm talking about. I've been tracking the last 7 times that after they took their money, or after they took my money and dispatched me out to a queuing line later, not in one piece flow, but disconnected, the last 7 times they've gotten my order wrong every single time. We cannot disconnect these processes. We have to finish as we go. We have to finish things as we go. It's a nightmare. So I'll go over to this restaurant, and I'll it's my fix, right? So my fitness coach only gives me one meal a week to do something where I eat like a cheat meal, like I have a dessert or something like that. And I always go back to that restaurant, which will remain unnamed in this show tonight. And Katie's driving with me, and I'm starting to complain. I'm it's so weird. I get so negative. It's like I'm an old man just like going through the drive-thru, and she's like, "Honey, I'm not gonna let you come here anymore if you keep complaining." I'm like, "Honey, it's been this 7 out of 7. They get it wrong." This last time tonight, I had ordered a hamburger, fries, water, two things of barbecue. I know you're judging me. Stop it. But anyway, I had 2 things of barbecue, and then I ordered my concrete mixer, my vanilla concrete mixer with Reese's in it, and right away with the meal, just in case I had enough room to get another one later. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so I get it, and the mixer is gone, and I think the water wasn't there in the bar. There was no sauce there. There wasn't any salt. All they had was the hamburger, and then I'm checking the bag, and they're getting impatient with me, and I'm like, I think this is all missing. And then home lady was like, "Oh, well, yeah, I was going to bring that out in a minute and ask you to pull up over there," which clearly wasn't the case. I'm so annoyed. I think I'm going to listen to Katie's advice and not go there. We're just going to go on a little break for a while. But anyway, that's what you deal with when you deal with a non-lean company. So if you're in construction and you're not on your lean journey, you're delivering service probably just like those people are delivering my ice cream. So anyway, that's my little rant for tonight. Real quick, in line with this, there's something that's been some people say it's been on my heart, it's been on my mind, it's been just, I don't know, whatever you want to say. Date night. There's somebody out there that listens to this podcast that needs to hear this. I recommend you go on date night with your spouse every week. Now, if you don't have a spouse, or you do it with your girlfriend or boyfriend. If you don't have a girlfriend or boyfriend, do it with your partner. You don't have a partner, do it with your life partner. You don't have that, do it, and I'm being serious here. I'm not being flippant. Do it with your family or with your dogs or something. Humans need connection. So specifically, if you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, partner, or you're married, I'm asking you directly to take them out on a date night once a week. So I really believe strongly in the 5 love languages. Some people don't. But I really feel like there's things that each person needs. And if we're not focusing on that, or even just spending quality time, it can be easy to drift apart because we get so busy. Katie and I have been doing this since 2016, and it has been a lifesaver. In fact, you might be surprised, but just the other day, Katie and I were spatting about something, and no, it was Saturday. There was this it was Sunday morning. There was this really important insight that I got about how to improve our marriage, and it was really wonderful. And the image that came to my mind as we were praying and thinking about this was, and this, I'll just be open with you, is that like Katie's like a rose, right? Roses are beautiful. They have beautiful, red and white, and I'm sure there's different colors, just petals, and they're gorgeous, right? But their stems are kind of prickly. And I realized that a lot of times emotionally, and if anybody knows me, they know I have trouble with this sometimes, even with others. But with a rose, you don't just go grab your hand around the stem where it's pokey, right? With the, what do you call them? The spikes or thorns. Yeah, thorns, sorry. And I realized that any time in my relationship, I should be observing and smelling and meaning appreciating the beauty of the rose and the petals and not interacting with the thorns, right? Everybody has thorns. And it was an insight with me in our marriage that I need to just focus on and cherish and interact with the beautiful parts and let anything hard, any pokey things just roll on by. Don't even fight about it. Don't argue about it, whatever. Anyway, so I'm a visual person. That was really insightful and helpful to me. My point in saying that is that Katie and I have been doing date night since 2016 and constantly working at it, arguments, spat, makeup, months of peace, blah, 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 getting back to it, learning, growing, changing, becoming different people, all of these things, different circumstances, new trials, mental health, physical illness, just all these things. And I will say, spirituality, God, religion can keep people together quite a bit, but on a tactile kind of a basis, on a practical level, date night, proximity, doing things together can be very, very good, right? So date night has just been fantastic. And I just asked myself, and I'm asking myself right now, like, would we ever get to the points where we have these beautiful, like, breakthrough insights and stay together and, just continue to grow as a couple if we didn't intentionally work at it? And I just think date nights have to be something that we go do. And there's no excuse. If you have new babies, to bring them over to my house. Like, we'll watch them for you, right? So, like, we've got 11 kids. We'll entertain them. And I promise you there's at least a 50-50 chance they'll leave the house alive or with all of their limbs intact. You can get babysitters. You can get family and friends. You don't even need money, to go out and do date night. You can just watch something on Netflix in the car. There's just no reason not to go do it. You need date night. You need that time. You need that intentionality because, really studies show, and this is not a random study, this is researched information. Couples do well when they spend about 15 hours a week with each other. And that intentional time together, that's something that you and your partner, no one else has that time, that movie, that show, that restaurant, whatever the case may be. Nurture your relationship, please, I beg you. The mission of Elevate Construction is to respect workers, train leaders, and preserve families. And I wouldn't be me if I didn't say that. That has been on my mind and my heart for a while now. I'm going to post some things about it, but please, please, please take the time right now. If you're listening to this and you're saying, this is a good idea, why are you not now doing it? Like, get it on the calendar, go figure it out, get it done. Even if your date nights suck for like the first couple of months, you'll get into a habit and it will be great. So that's my introductory message there. I can testify as if I was testifying in a court of law that date night has been one of the single most impactful things for my wife and me in our marriage and in our life, and to bring us closer together. And I know for a fact somebody out there listening to this podcast needs that information. And so I'm going to take your time to do that. So please do that. And if you've made a commitment and this actually helped you, shoot me an email. I'll tell somebody about it. So let's go ahead and go on to the rest of our podcast. We're going to get going here. Elevate Construction, we do project recovery, training and boot camps, consulting. The boot camps are my favorite. Like those are jamming. When we got a bunch going on. I am going to send out the reminders for the next boot camp. And if you are interested in a superintendent or a field engineer or what's called an entry-level builder boot camp, please let me know. And we will get you at least on the introductory call to see if it works for you. And if you have a question or want to attend one, let me know. So what am I excited about in life? Well, first of all, I know it might be a little bit cliche to talk about Memorial Day, but I do want to say I own my own home. My backyard has green grass. I live in a clean house. I have vehicles. I'm able to fly around the country. I started my own business. I have 11 children. They're all insured. The government doesn't pay for them, just FYI. I am married to my best friend. I get to work with fantastic people. I get to host a podcast. I could just go on and 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 on about the freedoms that we have. And I just want to say that I cherish freedom over peace. Meaning sometimes I know that there's situations where we don't always have peace, and that's because we're preserving our freedoms. And if somebody said, would you choose peace or freedom? I would always choose freedom, even at the expense of peace, because most of the time they can't exist together, right? If you have peace, you can live under a complete dictatorship and so-called have peace and have everything done for you. I would rather have freedom, and to fight for our freedom, sometimes there's conflict. And so I want to thank everyone out there today on Memorial Day who have fought for those freedoms. Absolutely fantastic. I remembered a time, and I know this is controversial, but it really shouldn't be. There are people, there no greater love hath any man than this, than they lay down their life for their fellow mankind, fellow beings, fellow women and men. And I remember being in DFW in an airport quite a long time ago, actually, and there were some uniformed military women and men coming through the airport, and everybody just started giving them a round of applause. And it lasted like 10 minutes, and it was a beautiful moment. And I just remember the amount of pride that I had for those people who were going out and making that sacrifice. Not even just like most of the time they're not dealing with life and death, right? But they're away from their families for extended periods of time so that I can be with my family every day. So first of all, that's what I'm excited about. The other thing is, I just want to tell you, some people probably think I'm getting a little bit over the top with this Takt thing. Takt scheduling, Takt planning, Takt, CPM, Takt. So I'm not. Like, I've been on the phone with Janosch and Marco Binniger with Takting, and I've been on with Julie and Fabien Font with Timothy and a number of other Takt practitioners and teachers and experts. I have barely begun to understand the simplicity and majesty, quite frankly, of this wonderful system. And I want to say, if you're mad at me for dissing on CPM, I love you. I'm not trying to be difficult, but I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't be doing anybody any favors if I didn't tell you the truth. Like, CPM needs to go. I don't know of a single good use for it in the industry. And Takt planning can do everything. It can do the corporate controls. It can do the visual planning. It can do the math. It's the scientific method to planning. It puts things on a rhythm, and it's just fantastic. So I'm going to keep going. We have just barely begun scaling Takt through the YouTube channel, through the books, the Takt, Elevating Construction Takt Planning. The second edition is going to come out in about a month's time, and then we're going to start working on the third edition, and then the fourth, and then the fifth. And we're going to add more QR codes and more pictures and more videos, and we're going to provide pretty soon services where if you need your scheduling department or your people need trained, we're going to be able to offer that. We're going to be doing larger events. We have Takt certification trainings coming up. Takt is going to sweep this nation, quite frankly, and the construction industry. And I just want to tell everybody, like, if you're not on board or at least starting on your journey, the rest of us are going to pass you up because that's where we're headed. I mean, like, if you're holding on to CPM, you are riding a dead horse. And if you are using Last Planner or Scrum without a supportive system, then you deserve better, because those systems are great and they deserve stable supply chains. I can't tell you the excitement. My mind is teeming with ideas and an understanding of how these systems work. And I'm just growing and growing and growing, and it's absolutely fantastic. So that's what am I excited about in life today? Please get on board. It is time, and it's not just a visual schedule. There's so much more to it. It's a system. So let's talk about some fans here. Jason, I wanted you to know that I've been devouring your books, podcasts, and YouTube content over the past few months, and it's phenomenal. I finally feel like there's a spokesperson out there that knows the details of what we do and willing to discuss the difficulties and realities of our industry. I'm all in with you on the mission to elevate this industry. There's so much potential. I hope this message finds you and reminds you that you're being heard and your content is having an impact. Keep it up. And boy, I appreciate this message. That was so inspirational. Like, I should just sit back and give that a moment of silence. That was great. So let's get right in. Yeah, that was great. So let's get right into the podcast tonight. You don't have the hearts and minds of your people, and we need that. So I've told you the story before, so I'll abbreviate it. One time we were at the cancer center. I was with my buddy Brad Nelson, the best superintendent in my mind that's ever lived. And he taught me so much, and he and I were dealing with kind of an unruly group of people that we loved, right? The project site, we were dealing with safety items, and we were figuring that out. And Jake Smaley was with us, somebody who's been on this podcast, and we were like, what are we going to do to really get them bought into it? And so I was thinking about, hey, should we get half urinals? Should we punish people? Should we, I was going in a negative direction. And Brad Nelson had me read 2 Second Lean, and I read the book and, fell in love with Paul Akers' journey and the way he does things. And it came to us that we should win them over. And so I told you this before, but we got all 210 people out in a morning huddle on Monday. And we said, all right, we're going to build bathrooms. We're going to have a lunchroom. We're going to keep the site even cleaner than before, extra toilet paper. We're going to bring donuts and treats. We're going to just do a lot of really great, neat things for you. And in return, we want you to keep the restrooms clean, and we want you to keep the site clean, and we want you to be safe. And it was so good winning over and treating the workers with respect, which we already did, but we were visibly showing and marketing that when the insurance carrier representative came out to walk and they asked random workers, what are the most important things on site for safety? Most of the workers could spit it out, the 5 key things. I don't remember what they were now, and the insurance carrier was so impressed with our safety culture. And it brought to my mind that we have to win over the workforce. So let's talk about the principle here. Winning over, and this is part of the integrated production control system. And I have to remind you that as a part of that entire system, I don't have to, but I want to because I love you. As a part of that whole system, we start with intentional pre-construction efforts, the first planner system with Takt, and then we go into lean and contracts. We buy out the behaviors and systems that we want. We bring in the behaviors and the principles from the last planner system. And then we make sure that we prefabricate everything we can. And then the first thing we do when we get on site with the team is we win over the workforce, the craftsmen and women out there. Then we build high performance teams on the project site, and we orient those people well and then bring them into a fantastic and phenomenal environment with accountability so that we can continuously improve. And so that's how it fits into the integrated production control system. Let me talk about this now. Winning over the workforce. Every good system starts with building the team as soon as that team is together. Workers have to feel and actually be respected. They need remarkable bathrooms, a good lunchroom, horizontal communication systems, worker huddles, and a clean and a safe environment. That, in addition to things like barbecues, positive recognitions, good parking if possible, smoking areas, and other basic needs, will create a sense of reciprocity and allow an environment where everyone can buy in. The required steps are listed here. So first, build or provide custom bathrooms on site that salaried and hourly team members can use, or provide enough portable restrooms cleaned 3 times a week at a minimum with hand wash stations. That is crucial. If we don't have nice restrooms for people, we don't respect people. And I'm not wanting to be mean. I'm not wanting to offend you if you're on the podcast. I'm telling you, If you don't have nice bathrooms for your workers, then you disrespect people. And I want you to rethink your life, and I want you to do better. I honestly do, because they deserve better. I've been a craftsperson. If you haven't, you'll never know what it's like to go out there and work your butt off in the freezing cold or in the heat, and then to have to go to the restroom and have that be dirty and have there be urine and feces all over everything, and then come out and have nowhere to wash your hands and then have to go to eat lunch. It's degrading. It's disgusting. I remember a general superintendent one time going overseas, and I'm not going to tell you where it is. I don't want to be offensive, but it was in a country where they didn't treat their workers well. The workers were in camps, and he went and inspected the job because the company was thinking about doing a job there, and then went and inspected the workers' quarters, and they were treated like slaves. When you went in there were open holes for where they would go, number one and number two. There was unsanitary conditions. There were not good conditions for sleeping. They were not in good health. They were not safe. It was a horrible situation. When he flew back over, he didn't even ask the vice president of the company. He was like, yeah, we are not doing work over there. They do not treat their people right. And I'm saying, same thing. Like, even in the United States, we're not too far from that on some jobs. We need to really speak up. If you know of a project or a superintendent doesn't treat their people right, you call them out or give me their number. I'll call them, because it needs to stop, and it needs to stop today. The second part, provide a built-in lunchroom in the facility or trailers for the workers with storage space, microwaves, phone charging stations, and refrigerators. If this cannot be done, provide a tent. The third thing, begin morning worker huddles immediately to create a social group with the workers and communicate with them daily. No, this is the best thing you'll ever do, unless you're an a-hole. Now, if you're an a-hole, then all you're going to do is piss everybody off every morning by showing your insincerity and your disrespect. So if you're going to do worker huddles, you either have to care, or you have to pick the person on your project team that does care and get them to lead the huddles in the morning. But I care about people, so in the morning worker huddles, I'll do speeches, I'll do you give them stories, I'll inspire them, I'll give shout outs, I'll ask their advice. And on the elevateconstructionist.com website, we have those worker huddle agendas. You have to do that. Worker huddles are not just about scaling information. It's about creating a social group with proximity and treating your people with respect, and they will get to know you. And sometimes people perform just because they know who they're doing it for. Start those worker huddles. Even with COVID-19, you have no excuse. Begin tomorrow. The fourth one, begin hosting monthly barbecues and fun events to reward the workers on site and create a fun environment. Celebrate the wins, show your love. I really appreciated doing little craft surveys, asking what we could do better for them on site. Once you fill out your craft survey in English or in Spanish, then you get your food and your treats and your raffle cards, or your raffle tickets rather. All right, 3 more. Provide remarkable parking for the workers. Parking can be a nightmare. If you want to be stressed, try and look for a place to park and then get to work on time. You need to put yourself in their shoes. Please do not ignore the need for good parking. The other one, remarkable smoking areas. I remember one time on a project, the project executive and PM were fighting me on this. We could have easily provided a smoking area for the craft workers. And they were just like, this is too much of a hassle. Don't think so. We're against it. And I'm like, you know what, guys? Like, if this had anything to do with you, you would get it done. I don't smoke. I don't particularly appreciate that people smoke. I don't think it's wise, but there are people that smoke. There are people that do these things. Why don't we give them an area and treat them with some respect? Why don't we do this? It will go a long way. And at the end of the day, my decision, and I'm super judgmental, I was like, yeah, you two just don't respect people. If it had anything to do with a salaried position, you get it done. And so maybe there's nobody on your site that smokes. Maybe it's a moral thing for you. I'd rather it be a moral or an ethical thing. If you're like on a moral crusade, that's fine. But if it's just laziness and you're like, yeah, it would be nice to get smoking areas, but I'm just too lazy to figure it out, that's not good. Let's make sure we have parking and smoking areas for our workers. And then the last one, ensure the environment is always clean, safe, and organized. If you want to have happy people, put them in a happy and safe and clean environment. And if there are people that are, pigs that won't take care of it, and won't be nice, then invite them to work somewhere else, because we need to take care of it for the people who treat it well. So those are some basic principles. I'm not going to rally this up too much verbally. You know how important this is. You know this is a game changer, and I'm asking you, please, person to person, man to man, worker to worker, manager to manager, whatever you want to say, to please get this done. And if you're out there doing other things, either for yourself or the project team before getting this, if it's on the bottom of your to-do list, you answer this question: I won't. Do you respect people? And if it's in the end of the list, maybe you should reflect on that. Because the current condition right now is our industry doesn't. We treat people like animals. We treat people like slaves, and we don't belong doing that to anybody. I want everyone, and I'm being serious, not irreverent here, black and white, male and female, I want everybody to feel welcome, elevated, and equal on our projects. And when we say that when we show that workers are not respected by giving them basically a hard work environment in horrible temperatures without appreciation, where we don't talk to them, where they have to go to the restroom in filth without the ability to wash their hands, and then they have to go eat lunch, not even in a lunchroom, but out somewhere where they can't even enjoy their lunch and take a quick break, where it was stressful even getting into the project site because they didn't have a place to park, and they don't have a place to smoke, and all of these things are freaking them out, and they're on their mind. It's on their mind, and the project isn't clean, safe, or organized, and nobody ever spends time with them monthly to talk to them. How would you perform on the job? I hear time and time again, oh, these workers, these foremen are blah, blah, blah. We don't have skilled people. Well, let me ask you a question. If you have beautiful bathrooms, beautiful lunchroom, if you have worker huddles, if you have barbecues, if you have parking and smoking areas, and if you have a clean, safe, and organized site, and you're still having trouble, I allow you to complain. But until you have those things, I don't allow you to complain about the workers and foremen. I'm not going to tolerate it. If you say that stuff in front of me, I'm going to call you out, because it's just not even right. People need the right things to succeed. Everyone needs a place to work. They need the tools and equipment. They need the training, and they need the time to do their job. And if we haven't given them the place to work, if we haven't given them the training, if we haven't given them the respect and communication, then we can't expect much else. In fact, if somebody said the workers are, well, I don't want to start a riot, but if somebody said, if the workers and foremen are treating your site bad and you have crappy bathrooms for them, I'd say, yeah, you probably deserve it. Honestly. But if you have beautiful bathrooms and stuff, my experience is, if you talk to the workers and foremen, who are wonderful, intelligent, wonderful, beautiful people with spouses and sons and daughters and, families and high level of intelligence, and you say, hey, let's take care of each other, they'll do it. I promise you that. And this is the principle that I want you to follow. Let's get out there. Let's get this done. Let's take care of our people. On we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and leaving a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time on the Elevate Construction Podcast.